you played there a couple years, then they named you player coach. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's
That is
crazy.
correct.
That's like
That is
Bill
correct.
Russell-esque in the 90s. I don't remember last time I've seen that. Like, could you manage that? How was that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was kind of strange. It was about 15 or 17 games left in the regular season.
Hmm.
And the coach I talked about, Brendan Sir, called me to his room. We're on the road. And he goes, "Hey, Mark, listen, I got a call up to the NBA. You know, he said, Isaiah's running the Raptors and he wants me to come help with the coaching." And
Hmm.
he goes, I was thinking maybe, you're the captain. I was one of the veterans on the team, older guy. And he said, "Hey, I was thinking maybe you want to coach the team." He's like, "Listen, it's only 17 games left. Instead of bringing an outside guy, why don't you do it? The guys I respect you. You know the stuff we're running. Why don't you do it?" I was like, "What?" So I get on the phone with the owner, and he says, "Yeah, if you want to do it, let's do it." I was thinking, all right. Like I never thought about coaching, never wanted to get into coaching. He's like, "Sure, I'll do it." So sure enough, he takes off. I take over. We sit with the team, explain the whole situation, and they were great. Like, "Yeah, man, we're with you 100%, Mark." Like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do this."
It's nice.
Okay. So sure enough, the very first game, playing boom, 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 close game. I draw up a play. It's a high pick and roll. I knew they were trapping. So I said, "Hey, run the pick and roll." And I believe our point guard was Melvin Booker. He comes off. I said, "The roll guy's going to be wide open." Comes off, roll guy's wide open, bang, score, we win the game. I'm thinking after the game, "Man, this is a piece of cake. Easy, man. What are you what are you guys all stressed about?" So sure enough, I think we went on, and I think we're 12-5 or something like that to finish the season. When it made it to the conference finals and lost to actually Eric Musselman, who's coach of Arkansas now. His team beat us in the conference finals that year. And but yeah, it was tough. And then finished that season, and the owner comes to me and says, "Hey, man, you did a nice job." He says, "You want to be the coach? You want to still play? You want to try to do both? What do you think?" I was like, "You know what? I still got a little left in the tank,
Hmm.
and I kind of like this coaching thing. So yeah, why don't I do both?" Still, when I tell you that was the hardest thing I ever tried to do,
Yeah,
get in shape, get the players, because back then you had to call the agents individually to get players,
sure.
right? So I'm on the phone, hired a nice staff, and those guys are trying to get players. Had to, set up the training camp, see what that looks like, get the camp together, talk to the guy, like do summer camps. Like it was just so many things I had to do along with being a player, right?
Yeah.
So needless to say, that was 24 hours in a day was not enough time.
No.
And I did not have a lot of success because I was just stretched so thin the entire year. And so after that was my last year playing. I gave that up and then coached for another 3 years. Yeah, after that.
Yeah, you said that you didn't think about coaching before. That kind of propelled you into coaching and sort of becoming a basketball lifer.
Yeah, it sure did. And so after that, I coached for another few years there, did 5 years total as a head coach of the Hoops, and then got an opportunity with Doc Rivers, who brought me on to Orlando as an assistant coach. And I did that for a couple years. After that, I went actually back with Coach Fisher at San Diego State, which is an
Yeah.
awesome experience. Spent 2 years there and to kind of help him kind of get that thing started. And my first year, we had a nice job, won the league, and then we won it again, and went to the NCAA tournament. And that was just a wonderful experience to be reunited with Coach Fisher and Coach Dutcher and all those guys there at San Diego State who did such a tremendous job.
Did you know you wanted to get back in the NBA in some capacity? Like that's where you wanted to be?
Yeah, I did. Even though I loved coaching, and you have such an impact on the young men,
Hmm.
right? And it was great to live in San Diego as well. It was wonderful. But I did. And my heart was in the NBA, and then after 2 years of coaching with coach there, got an opportunity with Eric Musselman with Sacramento with the Kings, and so I ended up moving family up to Sacramento, coached there with him for a year. And then, like coaching is in the NBA, we got fired. And so I
Yep.
was like, okay, now what's next? And how about this? Full circle, get a call from Brendan Sir, who was my coach, assistant coach when I was with the Pistons, coached me in Grand Rapids. He's now with the Knicks. And he said, "Hey, we need a West Coast scout." And I was like, "Scout?" I said, "I've never scouted." He said, "Mark, I'm telling you, piece of cake, you'll love it. You'll love the scouting." So I said, okay. So I did it. So I had everything west of Denver, play college and pro.
Okay.
So did that. Went to my first game. I think I went to see St. Mary's play. And I'm looking around like, okay. Watched the game, took notes, put my report in. I was like, this is awesome. I got no anxiety, no stress. Don't care who wins or loses.
Yeah.
Okay, like yeah, this kid looks like he can play in the league. Like write him up, boom. And from that point on, Stu, I was hooked. I was in love.
No, I bet you had that. That's a nice gig. That's a very nice gig. You were able to stay out west, and then you moved to the Knicks, and that's got to be an interesting decision to go from coast to coast. And I imagine move your family and take that job, but you wanted to keep going up, and you've made it to a great spot. So I mean, it's worked out, but that's got to be a tough decision to go through.
Yeah, the beauty of it is I started out as a West Coast scout with the Knicks and then became director of scouting and director of player personnel. And fortunately, they did want me to move to New York. And we had a discussion and they said, okay, I really didn't want to move my family. I have 3 kids. They were all high school, junior high age. And so I said, guys, I really don't want to do that. They said, okay, you can do your job from there, but you have to be in New York like 1 week a month was a stretch. So I spent a lot of time on Delta, flying back and forth,
All the points.
doing the scouting. Got a lot of points. Was obviously made it to platinum, diamond, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
but it was good. It was a good experience to be able to spend some time there. New York, because every time you go, it's awesome. Just a wonderful city, to spend time in. And so I would go there, spend a day or so in the office, do some scouting as I was on my way back, and then spend a couple weeks there at home. So I did a lot of traveling, but I was fortunately able to keep my family out west.
Yeah. So then, Michael Winger, I think, leaves Oklahoma. I think he was assistant GM there, gets a job with the Clippers. Take me through that conversation. He calls you up. Is that a no-brainer for you to take the job
It
with the
was
Clippers?
funny. It was funny because Lawrence Frank is our president, right?
Uh-huh.
So Lawrence called me up and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you, about the job," because Lawrence was coaching for many, many years, and then he ended up saying, "Hey, listen, he wants to get on this side of it." So he does, and he reached out and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." So I said, "Okay." So I fly into LA. We have a meeting, breakfast meeting, spend a few hours here. I fly back to Sacramento because the next day I was flying to Africa with Basketball Without Borders with
Mm.
the NBA. So that was something I've done every year. So sure enough, he said, "Yeah, well, I'll get back with you once I make a decision." I was like, "Fine, go to Africa, do my thing there, spend a week, work with the kids, do all that," because I enjoy that so much. It's a great group of NBA people that put on, camps. We do life skills training with the kids. We do a lot of good stuff. So I did that, and then I come back, and it's been a little while. And then so Al finally calls me, said, "Hey, you ready to do this?" Like, absolutely. So he hires Michael Winger as a GM, Trent Redden as assistant GM, and myself as assistant GM. So we all got hired, same together 2017 that fall, and have been together ever since. And when I tell you there's no better group to work with, it's been an unbelievable connection between us, and having a wonderful owner like Steve Balmer who lets us do our job and says, "Hey, listen, guys, do it. I'm here to bounce ideas off, answer questions, make you think about things differently."
Mm.
And that's what he's been there for. So Steve's been unbelievable. But working with Lawrence, Michael, Trent, and the rest of the group has been fantastic.
What was that like with Steve? And he's one of those types of personalities where you meet him and you're like, I feel like he's just like, oh, you actually are this energetic and this passionate. Like that's got to be. It's just a little different.
Yeah, hey, listen, what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
He is passionate.
it is
He
great.
loves basketball. He plays. He shoots a lot. Like he's really into it. But when I tell you he's a genuine person, like you would never know that he's worth $80 billion or
Yeah,
whatever the number is. Like he's such a down to earth, normal guy. Like we text all the time. He texts right back. Like it's awesome. I mean, it really is. And to have a guy like that who understands what we're doing and wants to help us in any way we can, like he's like, "Guys, we all got the same goal. Let's just go out there and get it done." And so, no, he's been terrific. He's a golfer, big time. I was able to play with him a few times, in the bubble there when we were this past last August in October or in Orlando. So
nice.
like I can't when I say he's as genuine a person as you can find. Like I couldn't be more honest. He's outstanding to
Yeah,
work
it
with.
seems like it. It's nice because I bet there's just you've been all over the place and you've seen different management styles, ownership styles, just different personalities, and to have that, like, I'm sure you've had some stories you're like, what is the owner doing, or what is management doing? So it's nice to like let guys lead and do their job, what they're being paid for. It must be, it can be very tough, I think, in basketball. Everyone wants to put their fingerprints all over everything instead of like sit back and let guys do their jobs.
That's it. And we say, and in Lawrence is a lot like that as well. Like there's no egos here at all. Like Steve doesn't want to say, hey, I'm the guy who did this. He didn't want to be out front.
Mhm.
He's just not like that. And so there are other owners who like to be more involved, who like to be in front of the camera, who like to, get behind the scenes and kind of do trades and that kind of thing. But Steve's like, listen, I pay you guys to do a job. And if you need me for anything, reach out. And he'll come in and ask questions, which we love. He'll come sometimes to the meetings, not a ton, but he's at every game and he supports the players, and he loves it. He just loves the game. And so he's been phenomenal to work with. And like I said, I couldn't think of a better owner than Steve Balmer.